Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppers. Today checking out some Swedish craft beer from OO Brewing, a great brewery in Gothenburg that I've been following pretty much since they started when Olle was brewing at Stibergets and kind of had OO as a side thing, and now OO is the full-time thing. They have more than one brewery. They've definitely grown, both Olle and Olof, the company, to a cool size and doing lots of things like now barrel aging. They even have a side project of OO now, which is called Simologic. One of their beers at the moment in the cellar, Barrel Aged Etop, I think it's called, which people are saying is awesome. And I also have a bottle of the very first vintage of long boiled barley wine that I actually got sent from Jenny. But these two has been in the cellar for about a year now, and I thought it was time to finally crack them. Again, it's one of those, like, it's beer that can age, so they end up sitting for a bit. That's how it is sometimes, like no adjuncts or anything. But it's basically, I wanted to review this, which is their anniversary Baltic Porter, but I also had a can of their Baltic Porter for a little comparison side by side. So they were actually kind enough last summer to send me, I think it was even more than a case of like all kinds of OO beers, like 2 cases taped together. It was crazy. A full case of their Pilsner for the summer, and then just Ekta, which I think is one of the best craft Pilsners, at least in Scandinavia, along with a lot of the different beers. And this was one of the beers in that huge box. And then I bought this, but I can't remember where I actually got it. I might have been on the Belgiske Hus webshop, which is called Køl. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's fairly easy to get still. And I'm not sure if they've done newer iterations of it, but so for their anniversary in 2018, they did a ramped up version of their Baltic Porter, which is one of their beers that might not be the most sought after compared to the IPAs and whatnot, but it's something Olle loves. I think they also sell a decent amount of it. It's just not something I see on the regular, but when I'm out or when you're in bottle shops and whatnot. But it's one of those beers that I know Olle's been doing for a long time, because one of his favorite beer styles when he was getting into beer was porters, and Sweden has a big tradition of porters, so why shouldn't OO also make a Baltic Porter? Specifically Baltic Porter, it's the same in Denmark, kind of. We also have a big tradition for Baltic Porter. And then for their anniversary in 18, where we actually attended the anniversary party when we were in Gothenburg, because it was around the time of the GBG Beer Week, where we went and we did some cool videos and stuff. You can go look that up if you want to on the channel. We also went to their anniversary party, which was great fun, and we did some touring of the brewery, and it was awesome. So they actually did only kegs of that beer back then, but now they've done a bottled version last year, and I'm not sure if it's a recurring release, because they've done it a couple of times now, but it's basically just the Baltic Porter ramped up to Imperial territory strength. So let's start out with the regular Baltic Porter and revisit this, because it was just for reference, really, that I wanted this in the video. But I reviewed it 2-3 years ago, something like that. But it's a 7.5% Baltic Porter, and it's quite nice as far as I remember. So pours a blackish color in the glass. Like, it is on the verge of being brown. Like, I think the previous, I can't remember. It's a long time since I had this beer, but I feel like I remember the previous batch I had of this being a little darker, but it looks black on camera. Often Baltic Porters aren't also exactly pitch black. It's just the one I grew up with, really. Tista Limfjords Porter is very dark. And Baltic Porters are quite different from regular porters because they are made with lager yeast and not ale yeast. And a nice kind of beige head on there. Let's check out the aroma. Ooh, surprisingly hoppy still. I didn't expect that. Just like a whiff of fresh hoppiness. It's nothing like specific, but you can definitely smell it's been sitting for a bit, because it's maybe not oxidized, but it's like mellowed out a bit. It smells really smooth, if you can say like that about a smell. But it's really coconutty and like really coconutty and toasty. Loads of toasty, slightly burnt kind of maltiness. It's just like the ever so light roasted malt body. And it smells super clean. You can definitely smell that it's a lager yeast they use for this, because there's like no like esters or anything. Like, you can almost go for thinking like a more roasty Schwarzbier or something, like an imperialized Schwarzbier, when you have, something like this. Or at least some of the classic Baltic Porters, because there's not like crazy roast profiles, as in like imperial stouts. But yeah, and really nutty as well. There's some caramel tones. It smells nice. It smells like a nice Baltic Porter. Let's try it. Cheers. Revisit this one. And of course, thanks to OO for the beer. It's definitely more roasty on the flavor. I was a bit afraid looking at the color that it would be, Schwarzbier like. It's definitely not Schwarzbier like because it has much, but it's also much stronger. But it has a huge pop of a toasty, slightly burnt maltiness. But it's also got a lot of sweetness, like a slightly velvety sweetness to it, like caramelly. Might I say slight vanilla-esque vibes? It's crazy drinkable though. Really carbonated, but and really clean. Such a clean yeast profile because it's a lager yeast. They probably, I can't remember the entire process when they do this, but I'm pretty sure they lager it as well, like they do with all their lagers after brewing it. Yeah, and then slightly charred, burnt woodiness to it as well. It's nice. It's a nice Baltic porter, and it's got a nice velvety, silky, and slick mouthfeel. Like not like really thick and creamy, but it's a lager. It's a Baltic porter. It's more velvety and nice and fluffy. It's nice. It's quite nice. This is 11.3%, so definitely a whole lot stronger, imperialized. And let's dive in. So it's definitely darker, but that's to be expected because you ramp up everything when you do stronger beers. It still has that brown hue as the regular Baltic porter, but it looks thicker and more viscous in the glass. Very nice, coating tan beige looking head that really sticks around. Yeah, let's check out your own. This one, aged for a year, pretty much, more or less, I think. Yeah, it is. No, that's. So I'm guessing it says it's best before the 24th of March 2030. So I'm guessing it's from March 2020. So it's over a year, if that's the case. Let's check out the aroma. Yeah, oh, that smells so good. It is a much more intensified version, but also one where the effects of time is showing a bit more, but very gracefully. It's like a light whiff of port and sherry. It's not like papery or anything, but I got that immediately, and that's just with 1 year of age. It's all, think a cross between maybe a Doppelbock and a porter if you haven't had a Baltic porter before, at least in this iteration, just because it's really really caramelly and really rich on malt notes, but then it's like super clean. There's no yeast flavor. So you get something that's more reminiscent of something like a Doppelbock, but it's got roasty maltiness too, which you don't find in that. I wonder if that's actually a thing, like a Doppelbock with roasted malt or black malt, like a black Doppelbock. Imperial Schwarzbier, I don't know. It smells really nice. Again, both of these beers are more old school and classic beers, but they're done really well for their styles. I just really love this one. There's like a vanilla flavor. There's like coconutty aromas, but a bit of that was in here too. It's just more intense and much bigger caramel. And there's like almost a hint of like a dark fruit vibe, which is also probably because of age. And then just like almost like toasty, nutty, almost like a caramelized nuttiness because it's stronger. It smells really good. Almost hints of licorice too. Let's try it. Cheers. Oh yeah. Now we're talking. Man, this is such old school beer. This is awesome. This is so old money. But it's really well done. Hint of warmth going down, but it's not boozy. It's got enough sweetness, but it's not like really sweet. It's like, again, it's really drinkable. Like, it's really drinkable beer. It's something you can really sit and savor, but you're not going to be like, oh, this is too much. I'll only have a small pour. Like, this is something where you crack the entire bottle and you can sip on it, and it's not a problem. It doesn't get cloying or too much or anything. It's just a really nice, drinkable, imperialized Baltic porter. Toasty, vanilla, really vanilla on the aftertaste, which is very interesting. I don't think like straight vanilla pop. I think nuances that are like vanilla. That's how it is in beers like this. It's not like written with adjuncts and stuff like that, so you taste like boatloads of that. It's just so much more soft, really caramelized, really heavy on like caramelized nuttiness on this one. And then there's simply also the roasted malt profile, but I feel like it's almost more subtle than in the regular version. I feel like there's much more caramel malt flavor on this one. or maybe even a Munich malt. But there's a lot of that where there's definitely a subtle, like charry, ashy burnt note, but it's like really kept in check because also I guess imperializing it, if you went too nuts with all the dark malts, you can get too much of that, so you lose some drinkability. But yeah, it's really good. Like rating wise for the regular one, I'd still put it around a 90. It's a very nice Baltic Porter, like I did back in the day. But I definitely like this more. It's not a mind blowing beer either, but it's just really well made, really enjoyable imperialized Baltic Porter. And I think the year of age definitely done it well because you're getting a bit more complexity in terms of that kind of sherry port. Maybe more so sherry port on the aroma and more dark, fruity-esque flavors. But it just gives a bit more complexity. I can totally see this sitting for a while at good conditions and turning into something really, really nice over time. Really nice classic beer. This one, 93, 4-ish, something like that. Really, really good stuff. Yeah. It'll be really fun to try the barrel aged Etov because that one, so many have now told me, like, that's an underrated beer. Drink it. And I have had it in the cellar for a long time as well. So we'll need to crack that soon. But yeah, this was fun. Revisiting some Swedish beer. It's been a while. So we finally cracked these as well because it's also been a while since I got them. So if you guys had a chance to try either OO Brewing's Baltic Porter or the Anniversary Baltic Porter from them, let me know what you thought of them. Again, don't expect thick, crazy foot. Like, this is creamy and velvety and slick, which is awesome. But don't expect, like, these hefty, thick, rich, roasty beers. Like, these are more about subtlety and a schooling in subtlety, complexity, elegance, and balance, even though it's stronger beers. And they're doing it very well. Kind of like with Aventinas, really. Just a totally different style, but it's the same kind of thing. Just, it's a Baltic Porter. But yeah, really good. So if you guys had either of these, let me know what you thought of them. As always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And yeah, also check out OO Brewing. And thanks to OO Brewing for the can of the Baltic Porter. But if you guys had them, as I said, let me know. And I'm going to say cheers and see you guys in another beer review.